Hey folks, a buddy of mine from work gave me this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And as I was reading that talk, I thought about refereeing. I want to share some stuff with you. When you're in a soccer game or, in a high profile match or, sometimes there's just a lot of stuff to think about, remembering substitution rules or remembering, all the yellow card offenses or the red card offenses or, what they can wear on their uniform and where the patch can be and how big the patch can be and blah, 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 right? I watch videos at conferences of even the top referees like getting stuff wrong and making mistakes. We all do, right? There's so much stuff to remember. I'm not making excuses, but there's just a lot to remember, right? So what should you prioritize? What should you give an F about in the game? Let me speak from my own experience about some mistakes that I've made. I remember being at a tournament in Rockford, Illinois. We had some teams from out of state, like, I don't know, this was a girls' game, maybe one from Minnesota, another one from somewhere in the Midwest, or maybe California or something. And I remember getting yelled at by the coach, like during the game a lot. He was very vocal and he kept on wanting me to call like all these trips or pushes or holds or something, and I just like really wasn't seeing what he was talking about. And I felt like reasonably comfortable in my abilities, but I wasn't calling what he wanted, but he kept kind of going at me. So then I started to call things that he wanted me to call, but then it like didn't quite sit right with me. Like it wasn't my game. I should say it wasn't how I would call it, right? But I was trying to appease him. I was trying to hush him up, all right? I was trying to get the people off my back. I don't want people complaining and yelling at me, so just, if they think something should be a foul, just call it and move on, right? So kind of getting into a habit or where you're calling what coaches or players want you to call is you giving an F about what other people say should be a foul. You giving an F about people's reactions or opinions, not what you as the referee thinks. Another thing you could give an F about in the game that kind of really related to this point is you could give an F about your future as a referee. So, dang man, I better not rustle any feathers here. I better do what they want so that I can keep on progressing. I better not make a fuss or not draw any attention to myself, because if it's negative attention, well shit, then I'm not going to get better assignments, all right? So I got to look out for my own future or my own success in, my officiating. So I got to kind of appease people, right? And one other thing that might not be healthy to give an F about, I was in games where, team one would challenge for the ball against team two, and team one's challenge would be somewhat reckless, like definitely probably a foul that I didn't call. Well then, a couple minutes later, or 10 minutes later in the game, team two would kind of do the same thing or another borderline reckless tackle on team one. So it happens on one end of the field, then it happens on the other end of the field. And I'm like, well, I didn't call that one, so I shouldn't call that one, right? Because in that case, I'm giving an F about being fair, being equal, treating both teams the same. And even though there was something dangerous that happened there, and I missed it, I'm not going to call this one because I care about being even, right? It's like, now that those two are done, well, now I'm going to start calling it a little bit tighter, blah, 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 right? And maybe we've all been there. Guys, the one thing I want to argue, or that I would say to myself back then, the one thing you should give an F about in the game, player safety. The safety of the players. The physical safety of the players. If there's a kid who's coming up with studs up, boom, you gotta say something. There's someone coming in who's like, bring the shoulder up into like the head area, you gotta say something, you gotta blow a whistle, all right? If someone's, bringing their cleats down around someone's, Achilles, you gotta say something, we gotta hear a whistle there. If someone's taunting or instigating, right, you gotta say something. If it's like super hot out, 200 degrees, and maybe you should give the people a water break or something, whatever. Your first priority, beyond being fair, beyond, getting yelled at, beyond looking bad, beyond your future success as a referee, your first priority is the safety of the players. By far, your first priority. All the other things, also important, don't get me wrong, but your first priority is the safety of the players. If someone's doing something in a game that's starting to instigate or rile up the other team, don't wait. Address. Because that could escalate where punches are thrown in, or where kicks are coming out, or where people are tackling in a dangerous way. Nip it in the bud. Okay, that was a little long-winded, but the main point here, folks, is in a game, your number one priority as a referee is player safety. And as you do men's over 30 games or over 40 games or whatever, those guys get it. No one wants to get hurt. No one wants to get hurt. All right? So protect the players.